join us for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Knight is absent today. First thing to be to do is approve the minutes from November 12th.
Also move.
Thomas has moved, McCurry seconded, I was absent. So I will abstain. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3, whatever. Miscellaneous motions. Moved based upon the recommendation of the county clerk and approval of the county attorney as performed to waive courtesy policy as competitive bidding for good cause. Said cause being that the vendor is a single source supplier contract, and to approve annual peopleware agreement and support January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025 from Computer Information Concepts in Greeley, Colorado for the total amount of $46,030 and 0 pennies. Funding for the purchases will come from the general fund, courthouse general, contractual line item.
Also move.
McCurry's moved.
That was Don, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I thought I heard Don.
Don moved, McCurry seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Sorry. Yes, 4-0. And that's it for miscellaneous motion. So, Rhonda.
Got 2 properties, I'm just come back to those. First one, and if you want to put one in. This is a good one.
Yes.
Yeah. The first property, which is Gridley, the city of Gridley asked me if I would come and just if we could get the landfill fees waived on it. The homeowner, it's a nuisance property, and so the city is going to take that down. They're taking bids and stuff on it to get it removed and everything. It basically will just be a tear down and a blank lot there in Gridley at 217 First Street in Gridley.
It'll probably stay vacant then too. won't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
until, yeah.
Yeah, there's not really enough room to put a house back in there. The owner's house is on the same lots
Yeah.
and not enough room.
There is a small
So that
garage.
includes that single garage back there?
Yeah, and there is items in the house, so they'll have to separate that out and everything, which the city knows that, and everything when you're getting it down.
Also move that we waive our landfill fees.
What,
Also move that we waive the landfill fees on
I'll second that.
property in Gridley.
Reese moved. So you moved away landfill fee and structure on by, well, excuse me, I'm sorry, I went the wrong one. Reese moved. Thompson seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay. My second one, you'll see the 2 pages, and this one, this is for 902 North 4th Street here in Burlington, right here on the highway, Allen Novender. They are going to first phase tear down the garage and then build their house on that area, but still live in the house until the house is completed, and then they will tear down theirs.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want me to come back, or if you want to just go ahead and approve the whole thing today, or if you want me to come back when they're ready for the house to come down. That was a question I had, so, I
I
mean,
wouldn't think it would matter, would it?
Okay.
we can keep it in the record and, yeah, and everything.
You think, Tom?
The house they're currently living in it just isn't in very good shape either.
It's not in real good shape, and then they would like a little bit more area, yeah, so.
So they're gonna build the house where that garage is,
Mm-hmm.
and the house next to it, that's the one that they would tear down.
Yes, it's gonna be right there. That's one of the picture.
It probably doesn't make any difference, but the other side of it is, you know, things may change when they get the moving done, or it may take a year or two to.
It could go over this year, yes, about
It
getting the
could
house
be a year or
built,
two
so I
before
didn't
they
know.
get it done.
And I can come back,
I'd
it's
probably
fine.
Yeah, maybe
suggest-
it'd be best.
Okay.
I think it's probably
We'll just
best
go with
just
the garage.
to single it out.
Okay. We'll table this motion for now.
Well, if we could get the garage down though. Yeah, the first phase anyway, if we could do that. And then we'll come back for the house part when they're ready.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So moving waive landfill fees for a structure owned by Allen and Cindy Novinger located at 902 North 4th, Burlington, Kansas, new district, Don. Through district.
Also move.
Don's moved,
I'll second that.
Thompson seconded. All in favor,
Aye.
say aye.
All right.
Motion passes 4-0.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Take care.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Next up is River City. Are they making it today?
They're not gonna be here.
Okay.
Cole's not here and Ryan's, he doesn't wanna get anybody sick. He sent me a message and said, you can inform the commissioners, all the cells are in place with the exception of 2 until the divider walls are up.
Which is what your petition. Okay, next for the update. Steve Cox, Mayor of Leroy.
Hello, my
Morning,
name's
sir.
Steve Cox. I'm the mayor of Leroy. I just kind of wanted to give the commissioners kind of an update on some of the projects that the city of Leroy is doing, and I also know that in the last meeting there was a few, maybe some questions about the infrastructure money. So I've got a couple of handouts for you guys. If you could take the top one and pass the next one. The first one has to do with the sewer lagoons in Leroy. As you might be aware, that the city has to test sewer lagoons, I believe, once a month to make sure they are vital without too much settlement in the bottom. We've passed those tests, but we're getting dangerously close to not passing those. So the first step that the Leroy City Council did was have Aaron Copeland, the city manager, get a bid in order to bring it up to code so we continue to use the bid. The first bid that we've got to do the bare minimum was around $560,000 to get it to the bare minimum standards to work. So we took that bid and we took a look at it, and then we also contacted B&G Consultants. At this time, there's quite a bit of money in order for grants to help with the lagoon. So B&G took a look at it. So the first bid that we got was to do the bare minimum standards on the lagoon. After B&G took a hold of it, they said there's quite a few government programs that can help you out. B&G came up with an estimate of about $1.2 million. In that estimate that they gave us at $1.2 million, there's a lot of the loan that can be forgiven, and there's also grants that can help pay for it. So what the city of Leroy decided to do was go further with B&G. They did a report for us, and we are also filing grants in order to try to get that done at $1.2 million. And the reason we did it at $1.2 million, because after the loan forgiveness and the grants, we're back to that $560,000. But if we do it this way, it's pretty much a rework of the whole sewer lagoon. That includes piping that needs to be done. It's at standard now, but who knows? It also includes riprap and everything else. So the city of Leroy chose to move forward with B&G to see if we can get the grants, and before we spend any money on that, B&G will tell us exactly what our out-of-cost expense is going to be. So bare minimum was 500 and some thousand, 1.2 million with B&G, but with the loan forgiveness and grants, we're back down to around the 560 mark. So obviously, I think the city council and I agree it'd be in the best interest of the city if we do the whole project at one time at roughly the same amount of cost. So, Don, did you have any other questions on that? I knew you had a question on that last meeting.
No, I think I made a comment that I talked to Aaron Copeland. I'm not sure what his title is there in Leroy, but New Strong, they just got through doing their sewers up there, and I'm not exactly sure whether they evidently didn't go through BG or who they went through to the extent of what they did on their lagoons, but when they got done, when the people or the company got done, it came in, I don't know, $150,000 less than what they expected it to come through. And so I suggest to Aaron to get a hold of the mayor up there and at least visit with New Strong and see what they had. Now, whether it was enough, whether they went through all the grant applications or they went through all the applications, the money's available, I have no idea.
Right.
They just said that their contract came in quite a bit less, and the county was involved in that just a little bit, and we put in less money than what we expected to put in.
Right.
6 months earlier.
Well, obviously, I mean, everybody's goal is that, as a mayor or a city council member or the commissioners, do what's best for the citizens and save the money when we can, especially if the services are equal to one another. That's why most of the time we put out stuff for bids, but I can understand some concern with some people when the bid goes from roughly 560 to 1.2 million. You're like, whoa, wait a minute, why? Well, there's so much more scope that B&G added with new piping, riprap, and actually diverting, I believe, there's 4 ponds there, diverting some ponds to make it better for the settlement in there. So that, and then the next one I'm going to go with is, I'm going to pass this out to you guys. Just like every city, we have to have a water tower inspected. We had a water tower inspected this year, and it needs, there's quite a big concern from the water tower company on what needs to be done to make that the standards it needs to be to deliver water to the citizens of Leroy. So the report there that you guys have basically goes over all the deficiencies in the water tower and what we need to get that shored up. So we've got some, I believe, rough estimates so far on how much the water tower is going to take in order to get it back up. The numbers right now, I believe, run in between 60 and 120,000. We are not sure exactly what it's going to cost until we get the companies in there to take a bid. So obviously, infrastructure money on the water tower, infrastructure money also on the sewer lagoons. And Angie, I know there was a question in the last meeting about the report of our infrastructure money.
Yes, I could not find the report that she thought she sent to me, which I'm sure she probably did. I know we've had trouble with mail. I think everybody has. So in the future, I've just decided I'm going to ask all cities to email me their reports, and it'll save them postage, number one, too, but it'll ensure that I get them.
Perfect. But you do have a copy of that now, correct?
She didn't get it emailed to me, so I need to call her again and try to get that. I
Okay.
don't know if she sent it to the wrong email. A lot of people get mine confused with my sister-in-law's too, so I gotta make sure everyone has that correct email.
Perfect. And I will follow up on that because I'm sure the commissioners want
Yes.
a record of what we are spending money on for
Yeah.
infrastructure. And then,
When you said the cost to, and I know it's a projected cost that may or not be accurate, to save the water tower, because I do understand that, there's a chance it may topple over, which is probably slim, but I expect...
I may topple over in the next 5 minutes, so yeah.
I expect that your comment on the water tower might be $300,000 or $400,000. So
No.
it'd be good if you could get it done for less than $100,000. And it's been several years since they cleaned it out, repainted it, redid whatever they needed to do to get it.
24 years for the Senate here.
How many years?
24.
Well, they've done it since then. They've done it since then, I know that.
I just saw there, it said 2,000 was the last annuity.
Right, but I do believe the water tower's inspected. I'd have to ask Aaron on that, but in order for us to provide water to the city, the water tower does have to be inspected on a regular basis.
Well, I mean, not that it wasn't inspected, but the last,
Right.
work done on it.
Work.
Well, they done some major.
Maybe I
work on-
read that wrong.
They done some major work on it here 6, 7, 8 years.
I'll find it again. Anyway,
So, and then the last thing I want to talk about, is we also, B&G also looked at a grant for us for the sidewalks also. So, has the official study been done? I'm not sure on that, but B&G went to a lot of paperwork, and here it is, to go over the sidewalk grant. And on the sidewalk grant, that we can apply for, the city council really hasn't moved forward on this issue yet, just because the water tower and the lagoons, we feel, take precedent at this time, the city council members. Does all the city council members think it takes precedent? Probably not. You know, just like the citizens, some citizens are concerned about the sidewalks, which I understand. It's been talked about at the city council meeting, but the motion has not moved forward at this time. If you see those estimates there highlighted at the bottom, they roughly want $40,000 to $50,000 a city block in order to do the sidewalks. The B&G, the estimate that they came up with at the current time was roughly, as it states in there, a minimum cost of $167,000 to our part from the city of Leroy.
That'd be the city of Leroy's share, is that?
Yes,
and
that
that's
is
based-
correct.
And that's based on if you get the grants that
Correct. And now, these are all preliminary numbers. They have not done an official study yet.
so B&G, I'm sorry, I didn't mean,
No.
B&G are the grant writers on these projects, is that right?
Correct. Yep, that's who we're using. So, it's not that the city council may not decide that they want to do the city project. They may want to move forward with the project in the near future. But at the time, I think myself and some of the city council members agree that we were kind of snowed under with the lagoons that have to be done, and also the water tower. So, I know there's some concern about how much money that we had in our infrastructure funds. Don't worry, guys, we're going to use it. So,
It looks like
we've got some, you know, we also, on the lagoon grants that we're looking at too, part of it's a loan forgiveness. So, from what I understand, we may have to take a loan out for that for so long in order to get the loan forgiveness. So, it's kind of a catch-22 on the lagoon, and we're trying to figure out the best pieces. So, obviously, we're trying to get that done through B&G. And hopefully that we have an answer before that is too long. So, the city council members are aware that if we have a big project that we think is a viable project that would benefit not only Leroy but the commissioners, that, you know, in that case, if it is a object of money, we could come and ask you for that. That was based on Bryson Meats last week talking about his new subdivision that he's wanting to do over there. So at this time, the city council feels like we need to move forward with the lagoons, the water projects, and then maybe relook at the other things in the near future. Unfortunately, just like you guys, we don't have an unlimited pocketbook on infrastructure.
right.
And I believe that estimate that Bryson Meats gave last week was about $1.5 million for the infrastructure for him to put in the subdivision. And actually, I was fortunate enough to sit right behind Rhonda, and she says 2 of the 3 of the triplexes are rented. So I know
2 of them are.
2 out of the 3.
Good,
Correct. So
Good deal.
we have 1 open there. Of course, you know, Coffee County, Leroy, we're no different. Everybody needs housing. But, you know, I've looked at housing. I own rental properties, and I own rental properties in Leroy. The problem with some of the housing is it's gotten so expensive for the average person to buy a house, and the income has to be there. So, you know, it's kind of a risk and reward deal when going in and buying these things.
I saw that on the news this morning. They said in order to be able to buy a home, you need to make at least $110,000 a year.
Right.
And that, for some people that way, it just isn't here.
Right. Right. You know, from an investor standpoint, I've looked at property my whole life and looked at it. You know, if you were going to build a house that cost you $200,000, you would expect in order to pay your mortgage on that, pay the personal property tax, you probably need to be looking at $2,000 a month in rent, which is a hard pill to swallow here in Coffee County for most folks.
Yeah.
So from an investor standpoint, it doesn't always make sense in order to build projects out like that because you're not getting the rate of return on your money. But I do appreciate the county commissioners let me talk this morning. Do you guys have any questions for me?
I'm glad to see that you guys have a lot of projects coming or working on in the works, but do we need to get up with, because I know Sabian's working on some of these shovel-ready projects with Cook Platte and Strobel. I just want to make sure we're not stepping on each other or something, trying to get something done. I know it's, you know, with the gosh, I lost the terminology. Sabian uses community improvement program. He was had sidewalk projects all put together. Was applying for a grant for $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he got a grant of $2 million to pay for all the engineering. I didn't know if this was in on that.
No, I do not believe it was. I think
Okay.
this is a separate project for the city of
Good
Leroy.
enough. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, when the state's paying 80%, you only got to pay 20. A no-brainer.
Right. And like I said, I mean, this is definitely a project that the city may be interested in. The city, the sidewalk. I know some of the citizens are interested in it. Just as you guys know, half the citizens are for it, half the citizens are against it, kind of a deal. A lot of times as commissioners and mayors, we get kind of put in a no-win situation, and sometimes as a mayor, as a county commissioner, we've got to kind of tune out the noise and say, hey, what is best for Coffee County or what is best for the city of Leroy at the end of the day? And I personally feel, not from a mayor's standpoint, but I personally feel right now that the biggest interest is us to get under control the sewage lagoons and under control the water tower.
Yeah.
It's hard to fight a lot of fronts at one time. With, I understand we have roughly $800,000 in infrastructure money, but at the end of the day, we have to have our citizens be able to use the water tower and be able to use the lagoons. And unfortunately, you think $800,000 or $900,000 is a huge amount of money, but you guys and I both know just with the jail alone, you're like, oh my goodness, how did we just spend $20 million? $800,000, $900,000, unfortunately, in this market doesn't get you too far.
But it sounds like you're addressing the issues that need to be addressed for Leroy, Kansas. I mean, that's lagoons and water supply.
Right.
And that's where
Right.
that's where you need to be, like, spirits.
Right, and it's just like, Bryson Meats was talking about building the subdivision there, which I understand, and it would be a wonderful project for Leroy, but he also states that he reported to you it'd take $1.5 million to get the infrastructure in there for the city of Leroy, and I'm like, that'd be great if we had it, but unfortunately, right now, we don't. That's just the bottom line.
Right.
Like I said, we may apply for some loans on some of this stuff. I'm kind of a finance guy. Right now you can get a low interest loan to do the sewer project at roughly 2%. You can buy a CD at 3.84%. So you take $1 million and making the spread on that, you're looking at, roughly $18,000 to $20,000 a year. So, like I said, I do appreciate you guys taking the time to listen and just kind of give you an update on what Leroy is doing and trying to move forward. And like I said, we're going to start spending the infrastructure money pretty quick. But
That's not going to be a problem, is it, to spend that money?
I wish it was a problem, but it's just like at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it seems like most people, they get their check, they don't have a problem spending it. So.
The sidewalk project, see, that's just east and west, isn't it?
Right, so there's a map there, I believe it's on Main Street on the very last page. It's kind of hard to see, I believe it's the red lines, if I'm looking correct.
Yeah.
Right. And also we have hired a code enforcer for the city of Leroy to try to get some of the properties cleaned up, just like Burlington and just like the other cities, it is kind of a constant battle in order to try to keep the citizens in step with the rest of the public on keeping things, clean, tidy, and you know. Unfortunately, no investor wants to, go into a town and turn around and look at a huge eyesore that they don't really want to spend the money if they're gonna be tied up to somebody who's not doing the correct thing with their property.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
we do have a code enforcer that we have hired to go through and do some of that kind of stuff. So, we're trying to move in the right direction. Unfortunately, with small towns like we are, as you guys know, it takes a lot to bring people to a small town. But we do have to protect the citizens that we have now with the lagoon and the water, because if we don't do that, we don't have much, you know?
I know you're
Yeah.
doing a lot of work on 3 or 4 different projects, Steve, but, you know, and I've attended about half of your city council meetings, but I appreciate you coming up. I know more now than what I did in attendance the last 6 meetings.
Right,
So this gives us a good update of what you're
right.
working on, what your challenges are, because they are challenges. And I'm sure that you'll make them work and they'll all come to.
Right, and, you know, what I learned from watching the meetings here is too, I really don't know what goes on in Lebo. I don't really know what goes on in Gridley, and sometimes I don't know if the commissioners are familiar with other people's territories, but sometimes you get presented information and you know, it's really not your area of expertise, and you know, you kind of wonder what's going on in those kind of situations. But I appreciate the time. Does anybody else have any questions?
Maybe it's just because I'm a concrete guy, but you know, we've done a lot of sidewalks in a lot of different communities, Humboldt, Chanute, Baldwin, Poria, you know. I just think, you know, when you drive down that street after it's all done, how nice that looks. You know, you have the curb appeal, which would make someone want to.
Right.
You know, because if you're seeing crappy sidewalks all heaved up and broke and 100 years old.
About half our blocks don't have sidewalk, and part of those halves is all brick.
Right.
A lot of brick sidewalks that are under 2 inches of grass. So then we got trees that's heaving a lot of sidewalks up.
Yeah.
Some of those trees are 3 foot diameter that probably needed, I don't know how you work around them without taking them out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Auburn, we've been all over. You know.
Right,
And they're all KDOT funded ones too.
right.
It looks pretty nice at the end of the day.
You know, and you and I both kind of realized if you were a private person doing a sidewalk as opposed to going through KDOT and everything else like that, I mean, it seems like they want to take a project that would cost a private individual $10,000 and blow it up to $40,000 or $50,000. So, you know, you kind of look at this and you kind of think to yourself, wait a minute. I mean, this project went from $10,000 privately funded to $50,000. It's just like, it's no different than our lagoon, right? We went from $500,000 to $1.2 million. Oh, what's new? Well, if you're getting money from the state or the federal government, they control most of that stuff, and you got to play ball.
Anymore, these engineers are, when they do their estimates, they make them high so that they fall in place with the grant being applied for when the bids come in. Because I've seen so many times that the bids actually get thrown out because it was higher than the estimate. So anymore, they're just like adding money to it. Just like our frontage road out here at the airport, I think the engineer's estimate, 800-some-thousand, we're getting it for 600.
Right.
Keep that in mind.
Right. But, you know, that being said, I'm the mayor of Leroy and a citizen of Leroy. If you guys want to throw us a couple of $1 million, we'll be more than happy to take it.
Well, and I've always said, I mean, if you know, we got a city that's got projects worthwhile and they lack a little bit of funding, well, I say we pitch in and help.
Yeah, in my personal opinion, that's the only way to really do it, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. I mean, that's the only fair way and reasonable way to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you guys take a look and you look at the bottom line on how much money we have in infrastructure, and then we come to you for more money, you're like, whoa, wait a minute. I mean, what are you going to do with this money here that's for infrastructure?
I've always said that any city has, no matter what city it is in Pelican County, have a project worthwhile, they're coming up short of funds this little bit or whatever, we'll pitch in.
Right.
That's my opinion. I don't know about anybody else.
Makes a good partnership.
It
We like to
does.
see,
Yeah.
I mean, we're already giving them infrastructure money, but still, you know, it,
It's still
he
on,
got a lot going, he's got a lot going on.
it's still on projects like he's talking about, it takes a darn much money
Yeah.
Right.
to do those projects.
Right, and also with the lagoon project too, that might be we get a loan and get some of it forgiven, but you know, the way the interest rates are going, if the interest rates goes down and we're paying more of a premium on the interest rate, then, you know, we should need to probably go ahead and pay it off if we have the money in the save, so. It's an, you know, evolving, moving ball at all times for city officials.
You bet.
But guys, I appreciate it, have a good day.
Thanks for
Okay,
coming in.
thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Appreciate the info.
You're welcome.
Discussion of economic development candidates. Next on the agenda, do we want to go into executive session for that, or, I mean, I'm assuming we can't just talk about it in the open.
Yeah. And I need to probably provide an update on information that I have that I think is a part of that discussion too.
Detrimental? Okay, motion to go into executive session for 15, 20?
Well, so,
We're gonna be back by 10 for canvassing.
yeah, so my initial request would be to go into executive session this is for my purposes, to provide legal advice related to your discussion regarding economic development candidates. And that can be for 10 minutes, and then if you want to go in and talk about the candidates further, you would do so under a different exception, but this is specific to my request to provide legal advice.
10 minutes is enough, or do you think 15?
Yeah,
We can't do it all at once?
This is more, I mean, this has something to do with information I need to provide.
Okay.
So I think,
We can do whichever one you want first.
yeah, I think mine needs to be first, and then from there you see where you are.
Canvas election.
Do you want 10 minutes then?
I think 10 minutes.
You want
And then from there, that'll get you back up here enough time to probably take a break before the canvas. That way you don't flow into the canvas. That would be my
Yeah.
suggestion.
After Wade's information that he's bringing to us,
Yeah.
we may decide not to do the
I
second
think I
one
know what he's talking about.
until
Gotta get
Jesse's
some AAA
back.
batteries. Do
Okay,
you have a phone alarm or a phone timer?
I do have a phone timer.
Can you use that for the?
I will.
Okay.
So, motion, do you got KSA 294362? Or is it just motion to go into executive session?
It's for, under the attorney-client exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act, it would be to provide legal advice regarding your potential discussion regarding economic development candidates, and that's what I'll leave it at. Myself and the board.
I'll make that motion for
Curry's
10
moved.
minutes.
I'll second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're going in at 9:36
How
for
long?
10 minutes. Is that correct, Wade?
Correct.
Yeah, what else walking in? Yeah, I think Wednesday they're talking about a northwest wind of 20 to 30 mile an hour. Oh, can't wait.
That's gonna be lovely.
Can't be.
That's when it's gonna cool way down, isn't it?
Yep, it is. At least no snow.
It's gonna start to feel like Thanksgiving.
It will. It will.
Okay. We're back, we can take a 10-minute break and come back at 9:58, time for the canvass of the vote.
And your timer's fixed.
Thank you, ma'am.
So we're off.
Yeah,
We're off.
that's my favorite position for that switch.
we're back, we have to wait till 10 o'clock, it's canvassing. Let's see, you got a motion for me on that?
Yep.
Got,
Whole bunch of motions. Okay, see.
I don't understand the first one. We do appoint
Okay,
as canvassers.
we need, you wanna go see if Gwen can come down too? 'Cause we need 5. I forgot.
I'll go get it.
Are you sure?
Yep.
We're just appointing Gwen,
Okay.
cause you're short
Oh,
one
we need
commissioner.
5.
Can you fix that? I don't know if I have.
Oh,
Or
okay.
2 or 1. Forgot.
Yeah.
We talked about that last week, that we might need,
Yeah, that's
One
what I
of
think we
you.
needed to get to,
we
Dawn
needed
and,
2,
Gwen,
cause these 2 are gone.
Yeah.
Are you, doing, Brad?
June provisionals?
Yep.
Okay, I'll probably need to be here for that.
Yep. Good morning.
How are
We're
you?
getting ready to appoint
You have an extra one for me?
Yep.
When are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
All right.
Dealing with the rain.
Hmm?
Good to see
Good,
you.
thank
Do
you.
you want to talk about them when we get ready here? That's been for a lot.
I can if you want.
No idea.
There's
We
some
gotta do a
questions.
motion real quick here.
Okay, it is 10 o'clock, and we're here for canvassing of 2024 general election. As we are missing a commissioner, we need to move to appoint Glenn Burke as canvasser of the board of canvassers.
I so moved.
Johnson's moved.
I'll second.
McCurdy seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Move to convene as board of canvassers and canvass the results of November 5th, 2024 general election at 10 a.m.
Also moved.
Meets is moved. I'll second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. 5-0. Correct?
Yeah, she's a voter. I'm a voter right now. Yes, okay, then I agree. I didn't know if I was yet or not.
I had to think about it, it's like, wait a minute.
Yes. Well, we made it through another election
Great.
very successfully. There's a few things that we'll go over that did occur that day, but in order to go ahead and get the provisional ballots ran through and count the ones that should count and discharge the ones that should not, I'm gonna let Brad just kind of go over that with you here, and then we'll continue on and
Okay.
pause if we need to continue other business.
You all have the provisional sheets there if you want. I don't know if you need more time to look through that. We have a high number of provisionals this year, which is kind of expected in a presidential year because you got a lot of voters out that aren't paying attention, like for school board and city council and that sort of thing. So everybody comes. And what do we have, over 71, 73%, something like that?
We had 70% this
Over
time.
70 for the county.
And 73 we had in 2020.
In the Lebo area, over 85%, which is stunningly high. But anyways, the overwhelming numbers here at the top of the report are people that were not registered in Coffee County. A lot of those were registered in Kansas, but not. They draw the line at the county as the border. If you move within the county, then you can show up, vote provisional, and it counts. If you move into the county from another county and haven't registered, it will not count. The best we can do is get you registered for the next one. They fight about that law every now and then, trying to change it, but it's not really manageable to go beyond the county line. So not registered and then moved within the county, those are the ones that are inside the county lines and moved and haven't updated. So they're allowed to update. Number 3 is people that have had their name changed due to marriage, adoption, that sort of thing. And there were 11 of those, and they just have to update their registration at the time they're voting. Number 4, the requested mail ballot voted in person. three of those, that's actually what happened, is two of them, we mailed ballots to Texas, they happened to be in town, came in and voted early, so we marked their ballot as provisional to make sure the mail ballot doesn't also show up, and it didn't. And then the other one had one also at polls in Lebo that voted that way, that got one in the mail and decided they'd rather come in person. So that's why it's provisional. The other three were ones that went out in the mail and the people never got them. One of them got forwarded to Colorado. The other two, the people claimed they didn't get them. I have no idea. I think they might have just thrown them away, but they said they didn't get them. So anyways, those were all elderly people that qualified under the sick and disabled, where we could have a person come in and sign an affidavit and just act as their mailman, take them their ballots, have them vote it, and bring it right back to us. And we make sure that the mail ballot that we sent out originally, the one that went to Colorado, we did get it back unopened, so I know it didn't get voted. And the other ones, who knows where they went, but they didn't come back. The ID, we had 5 people that didn't have ID, mostly, I think all of them were ones that were expired. 3 of them, I think, got them updated and into us. I talked to one of the other 2, left a phone message and never heard back from the last one who didn't update theirs, and the one guy has been expired for a couple of years and he didn't have the means to get out and get it fixed in time for today.
The only time that you can use an expired license is if you're 65 or older.
Yeah, if you're over 65, then you can use an expired one.
But if you're
They
under,
suspended that during COVID because you couldn't get a license to save you for a while there, but it's back in force. You gotta have your, and we always tell them, it's better that we find out you're expired than a trooper. But anyways, we try to help them get counted however we can. The voted at wrong poll, these are people that had moved within the county. And this was just one of those things that happens on a busy election day. They showed up at their new place where they should have voted, and they told them no, they had to go back to their old place, which is not what they should have told them, but they did. So they, 2 different polls sent people back. All of them ended up at Leroy, and Heather down there did a good job of saying, we're not going to make you run all over the county anymore. If you're willing to not vote for the township races, then you can go ahead and vote here, and it'll just count everything down to the township, but not the township.
So that's
Otherwise, you got to drive back.
And that's why it's got partial.
Yeah, so we'll count everything except township races, and in those instances, there was no contested anything.
those will have to be hand counted.
Yeah, we'll have to, we've got
Because you
them
don't want to run
separated
those
out.
through the machine. Yeah.
Anyways, the clerical errors, one of them the DMV sent through, I talked to Wade about that, with a registration date of July 10th of 6024, so he wasn't going to be registered for 4,000 years. So he didn't show up in the poll book, so we went in and fixed that. And the other one was a voter that another county stole from us, and ironically, the same county stole the same voter 4 years ago. I didn't catch it when they stole her again this time. I now have a bright orange sign on the front of her registration saying not to let that county ever steal her again. She was very kind and patient with us getting her stolen back, but it's just strange that that would happen, unthinkable that it would happen twice. Anyways, and then we just had one signature on a mail ballot that just didn't match. And I reached out to that person to try to get them to give me another try, and they just didn't choose to do that, so that's about the size of that. Anyways, we ended up with 54 ballots that we would recommend accepting completely, the 3 that we'd recommend partial, which would exclude the township races, and 37 that would be rejected, which are primarily the, well, it's the not registered and the ones that didn't show up with an ID that they'd gotten current on.
Well, it looks like all the cities and all the townships, the red and the green's pretty steady.
It kind of is. There's a
Until
couple.
you get back to Rock Creek. Rock Creek, is that east of Leroy?
No, it's Waverly.
Oh,
It's the Waverly area.
City that's not registered.
Well,
You
those,
probably don't have the answer for it, but
I don't know why, but I know it raised flags to me that something's happening in Waverly, because these are all young people in their 20s and 30s that have been registered somewhere else, and they're now in Waverly, so that's good. But it's too bad that they didn't have the registrations up to date too. I'm not sure what the deal, that didn't happen in other parts of the county and numbers like that.
It showed up pretty,
Yeah, it jumped off the page to me, that I just kept going through those and seeing,
I wasn't sure where Rock Creek.
and some of those would be like, locals that went off to college and they, they registered in, Emporia,
Yeah.
or they registered in, well, I don't think any of those are from the Miamis or people that have moved in, Osage, Franklin. I don't know, but it did stand out on that was a unique situation over there where you had a lot of young people that are in Waverly, hopefully working.
And when you said that, I think probably that had to do with it, because some of them that had moved out of Waverly, that had been in Waverly previously, came back to vote that day. I do know that. Now whether that's
And if
for
they're,
them, I don't know.
if they're students, they kind of choose whichever place they can register and vote where they're going to college, or they can come home if they want to leave it at home. A lot of them leave it at home. But then some of them will register at college and then they move home, but they don't bring their registration home, and then they end up on the naughty list instead of getting their vote counted.
The naughty list, huh?
Yep. It is Christmas season coming on.
Yeah, it is.
So move upon the recommendation of the county election officer to accept 54 provisional ballots, reject 37 provisional ballots,
Oh, and then partial count.
And partial count.
and partial count. 3 provisional ballots consistent with state statutes and professional vote totals will be added to the appropriate races.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Provisional vote, not second, sorry. I'm sorry, who moved?
I move.
Second.
Pete seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
So take off, let me know if you have any questions that I can help with. along.
Do we wanna keep going for a little bit here before?
With you.
Okay. Let's see.
It's been 10 minutes.
Okay, so I'll give you, I guess I can give you the balance sheet. We can start looking at poll books real quick here. Just as we take a look at this I know is confusing. I tried to make it so that it would not be confusing. I keep trying to improve upon it, every year, but I don't know. I don't know if I could succeed or not. So at the very bottom, you're gonna see we're off one, and I'll explain that as we go through the poll book. So to start, I'm gonna give you the county clerk's office poll book. This was directly out of those poll pads you sign in. I imported into its own software on the computer, and then it's uploaded back into our voters, Elvis system, which is our, where we keep track of all of the voters and their records. So clerk's office, if you look on the right side, it says there were 1,272 checked in, which is correct. So if you want to initial when you look at that. The machine said 1,267, but we had 4 paper, and then we had 1 express vote card stuck in the machine. So if you add those 5 to that number, it's 1,272.
You need to use it. This one, initials, that.
Yeah, sign there at the bottom of the line there that you've
Oh.
witnessed or seen that, and you're in agreement and fine with that?
I did that one in red, I should.
Just initial,
Or you can sign, or sign would be good. The next one,
Please sign it.
if I'm going too fast, I'll
Nope.
slow
You're
down. The next one we got here is the advanced mail. It's kind of wonky on how it looks, on the right side, because those were mail requested over the phone, where we had 218, and then there were 5 provisional, which then made it be 213, and what we actually accepted, if you look at the left side, is 213. We had 4 early paper counted on those. And then we had 1 express vote card. Oh, I see. I had to put that in 2 spots because those 5 were counted with the 213. I'm sorry. I have put that up top and below because when you look at, oh, I forgot to turn this on.
213 is all your exceptions.
Yes. And so this report, if you look, the 1267 there under advanced EV, I forgot to hand this out to you. This is the other thing we're balancing with that report. I don't know if I can explain it good enough to you guys, but it is complicated. So, yeah, so if you look under that advanced EV, there was 1267, and then advanced paper, so that we had the 213 plus those paper up top that we ran through with those paper to get you the 218 number. And that's how we had to count those. And so then let's see, did I give you, okay, so if you want to sign that one too, the 213 numbers there we're looking at.
Right. So just sign at the
Yeah.
bottom, someone.
You need these back down.
No, you can keep those. But we're going to keep looking at that one.
Good.
Our next one is Gridley. We had 359 people that checked in, but the machines told us only 356 people voted. In a case like that, we give these notebooks out to each polling place for the poll workers to write down anything that would happen or whatever, and they do pretty good. Sometimes something might be missed, and I'm in no way like being critical or anything of anyone, but what I'm saying is that with a busy day, with every polling place, we had something happen. And the only thing that we could allude to is that there was probably 3 voters that walked away. They might have backed their card out to look at it and took it with them.
Oh,
That doesn't count. So there's no other explanation that we can come up with where more people checked in than what actually voted, other than they took the card and walked away. So,
Okay.
so you're gonna have stuff like that happen when you
and
have
when they do that, they need to reinsert the card.
they have to reinsert
And
the
then
card,
hit the,
Yes.
submit,
because
correct?
once it casts, that's when it counts.
Okay.
And that's where, like, we caught one here in the advanced voting where the lady still happened to be here luckily, and it said, contact your election officer. Well, then they got me to come in and I opened up the machine and you could see her card in there. And we tried to get it out and have her feed it back in and it wouldn't go. And so we knew what our count was before she voted and it matched the poll pad. But then because she signed in and it didn't go through, we knew we were off one. So we counted it later.
I was gonna say her vote's still counted.
It's still counted,
Right,
yeah.
right.
And you'll see, we had that same thing happen again down in Lebo, we assume. And so if you'll sign that. Now, all of these, election day, I put in dark blue on your sheet. And those numbers will match up with your election day EV column of the 2867. That's all those voters that were counted that day. So I tried to kind of color code this to maybe help with, I should have maybe highlighted it on this page too. Our next one is Kelly Hall. And I have all of them combined in this poll book. There was a total of 600 that signed in on the poll pad, but somehow 601 voted. The only thing we can think is that either someone took their card back to get a different card or something, they pulled it out and they went ahead and put it in the can. I mean, I don't know what happened there. Neither Brad nor I could actually explain how you could have less people check in than what the machine showed.
But you're counting 601.
Well, when it's on that USB, that's what counted in. And so, I'm not exactly sure. And again, we go through the notebooks to see, and there wasn't anything we could find in their particular notebook to tell us what could have happened. But again, when they're so busy out there, I mean, we are so grateful for the poll workers. They're doing a job that it is pretty rough, especially on these busy elections, and you can't always write down everything that happens. So, the only thing we can do is just assume, but that's the only one where we had one more that voted than checked in. Someone maybe didn't get fully checked in too. You know, maybe, because you can actually take a card over to the machine and you can manually select a precinct. So it could have been something like that where maybe there was some kind of confusion that maybe they were going to have a provisional ballot or something, and then they ended up getting a card and just going over, putting the card in and selecting Burlington Ward 3. So that could have happened too. I'm just not sure. So, and when you reach out, you know, sometimes people don't remember, you know, what exactly happened, or so. Anyway, that one we were off the ones. There was one more that voted than signed in. Okay, so then our next one is Lebo Community Building. There we had 643 checked in, but 636 were on the machine. So that looks like more checked in than voted, but that's not the case. We had 5 signed the poll pads and voted provisional. And we figured we had 2 voters that may have taken their card and walked out. And then we also had some that signed the poll pads and voted, 6 paper, yeah. So all in all, it does balance. It's just there were different things that happened on each side.
So you ended up with how many counted, Lebo?
There would have been 636 as of right now, because we've got provisionals we're going to read in.
Okay.
And that's what the 6 represent in,
The 6 are your paper, so when you look at this other report,
oh, okay.
you see 12 in that column, and that's because you had 6 in Lebo and you had 6 in Lebo and 6 in Waverly,
Okay.
which is in red.
Okay.
And that number are the number of cards or paper we read in on election day.
Right.
And I don't know if you want to pause here and take Wade now, it's 10:20, or if you want me to keep going. I don't know, Wade, how long you need really.
How long do you need? How long do you need?
I'll still need some time. We're only through, Levi, I still gotta do, we could finish these poll books if you want, and then go on with Wade,
Let's do that.
and then we'll finish the rest of it. Okay, so Leroy, we had 397 that checked in and 397 that voted the machine, so,
Yeah, these next 3 are approved.
yeah.
Look like that's pretty clean.
Perfect, yeah. The next one is Neustron. Theirs matched perfectly, 427 voted, or checked in and also voted. I like it when they're like that. But stuff happens. It happened here in advanced voting too, so.
I was taking when I voted, I didn't remember handling a card, the kid put it in for me.
Right. But you can return a card to look at it. If we had a lot of people.
had to have that choice.
Yeah, we had a lot of people that wanted to return their card to make sure what they selected is what was on the card. And so,
Instead of just looking at the machine.
yeah,
When a card gets stuck in and that machine is down until that card is pulled out, or will that keep working?
okay, if it's stuck in the machine, it'll say contact your election official.
Okay.
If it's stuck, really stuck in there. And so it's down. In a case where, like they might have returned the card and they might have looked at it and maybe didn't put it all the way back in and it's just kind of hanging out, it'll actually reset itself. So that still won't count. And they would either need to go get another card, which we're going to discuss that one because that happened in Waverly. and spoil that card and then get a new one. So, and that's what we're thinking is happening in Waverly. So Waverly, we had 461 that checked in, but 462 voted. And so in this case, we know a card was returned. We think it should have been spoiled, and we think they put it in the paper ballot to be counted. So. So if you look at all of that across the totals, the total on the report is 4,364, which I said earlier is 70% voter turnout. Lebo did have the highest of 85%. That number matches our total counted. And as you go across those totals again, they match the totals on this is my balance sheet that I create to balance out the poll books with the machines and what's counted on paper and the express vote. So if you're good with that, then we can,
What we're looking at, we got a difference of 1.
right.
Where'd you say that?
That was, I think, Burlington Ward 3, which I could have probably counted that, being that we did count it and make that 4364. I debated on what to do.
Okay, that's the only one
So I
that's
could-
marked, cannot explain Ward 3, that's the only place that's marked, so.
Yeah, that one I didn't have any clue, but like I said, they could have taken someone over.
But that's a plus vote there, and see, we're trying to kind of minus. We're down.
Well, it's actually a minus. I should have added that number in.
So it is a minus,
Yeah, I should have made it 4364.
so that would move it up to 60 foot.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
No, I mean, it ain't no big deal anyway.
right, but I should have, that's what I should have done, so. Anyway, okay. So, we can go ahead and pause if you'd like, and you guys can carry on, and then we'll come back and finish looking at the rest.
Move to recess as Board of Canvassers and reconvene as Board of Commissioners at 10:25.
Also move.
Missus moved,
I'll second that.
Thompson seconded, all in favor say aye. Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. We'll need you back in a little while.
Okay, just come and get me then?
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you, Lynn.
Sure.
So next on the agenda is County Council Wade Bowie Law Enforcement Center pay app number 11 and change order number 23. Getting the TV ready, so. Do you need a little bit?
I think I did, but this,
Whenever I use that stuff, the more bigger a hurry I'm in, the less it'll work.
yeah,
Best way is get a hammer.
it's nice to have a
Don, you and your hammer.
sword
You gotta
driven
You gotta get him
remote, but
attention.
it's not working.
How long do you need, Amelia?
Probably about 10 or 15 minutes, but
Battery,
I'm also
battery,
waiting on
battery.
BG.
Well, it's not charged,
Oh,
So what?
so it's not.
But I'm also waiting on BG consultants.
Are they gonna show up too?
They might potentially be here.
Okay.
There has to be a way to turn this on right here.
Is it plugged in?
Yeah, it's plugged in, I just don't know.
I moved it down below.
It's not plugged in.
You know, the TV in my bedroom quit working. I searched all over for a power button on that side of the gun and couldn't find it. I changed I switched the modes, changed batteries in all the modes. So then I moved the TV out and it's unplugged. I said, how do you get unplugged?
That's probably it, huh? Ding, ding.
Sorry, I just had to ask because it recently happened to me.
Problem solved. McCurry the electrician.
no, I didn't. I brought it up. I never thought about it not being plugged in, I was that, I was that.
I'd all right on television and deal with it.
I said, if it had recently happened to me, I can do it through that.
Reminded you when you battled it.
Yeah, it came unplugged from the back of the TV, not at the outlet.
I see.
I don't know, I must have put something on my, because it says on the dresser. I must have set something on the dresser and pushed it and pulled it out, I guess.
Yeah.
Weird.
All right, so
Off and running.
off and running. So I've got two motions for you today. One deals with pay application number 11, and we'll go straight into pay app number 11. Pay app number 11 is right here. So, if I recall correctly, this is the biggest one to date. It's almost $2.5 million. Payout number 11, as you see, can you see up there? Okay. So, you should have had this already. This is the one that I go through with River City. Sheriff and I went through it last week. The total 2.476485.27 pennies, and that's after the retainage. So they all have the chart where we are, work in place, what applies to present time. I'm just gonna blow through that.
I read over it yesterday.
So where we start, payout number 9 for Concrete Unlimited. They're asking for this pay period $25,380. Their total before retainage is $28,200, and that's for building and site. And the best summary, slabs and pads, and that's I believe for the power on the south side of the building, if I recall correctly.
You got a pretty good pad right there, pretty thick, so.
So that's all it was for Concrete Unlimited. The next one, Wheatland Masonry, it's payout number 7 for them. Their total is $275,000. With the retainage, it's $247,500. And if you go down and look, work completed this period, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Block labor, block material, brick labor, brick material. If you go inside the building, you'll see the block. If you go on the exterior of the building, you'll see the brick. A lot of brick and a lot of block. If you haven't had a chance to tour the jail, it's from week to week, it's transforming significantly, especially now that the pods are installed. If you got to see that process, it was pretty interesting to watch those pods get stacked on top of each other like Legos and then moved in and then set up inside the building.
I seen 4 of them hooked up Thursday morning. They just having the apparatus that goes on the back of it, which is hooked at the top and the bottom, but it's hooked into the air and stuff. It's having quite a significant issue trying to get, it's probably the air, having quite a significant issue getting it hooked into what was on the pod and the top and bottom. And the middle one, they never did get it hooked in. But I'm sure it'll get done, but.
That I can't answer that. I only saw what I saw while I was here, and they had it down to a science.
Yeah. So they pretty well did, had a little problem getting that back hooked in.
Payout number 9 for HME, which is the steel company. Payout total is $24,660 with the retainage $22,194. You go through in their sheet the detailing. It's the mezzanine steel $12,300, and then I have the erection of that mezzanine steel is the labor for it. At the very bottom, the safe room, that's already been taken care of. I just had it there as a marker. Although it's counted here, it's already been addressed. Cole wanted to make sure that got brought up, so that's that total. IBC Carpentry, their total And as you see now, we get to where we have stored materials and work completed, and sometimes that's a mess for me going through and figuring out what's what. Work completed, $24,663.70. Stored materials, $49,170 for a total of $73,833.70, with a retainage at $66,450.33. As we go through, you'll see the work completed in this column, the stored materials, and it's finished carpentry materials, $49,170. There's pictures that are associated that we'll get to here momentarily. The total, $73,833.70, and then here we go with the pictures. You tell me to slow down, stop. But as you can probably tell and recall from doing this now, through all these pay apps, all the stored materials will usually have pictures or some sort of documentation that tie to them, so you can see what the stored materials entails. Next one, Alpha Roofing, payout number 2. The total is $194,312.91, with retainage $174,881.62. Roof application, it's all for that TPO, the roof membrane, is what it is. And if you saw the aerial picture, you can see for the most part what that is. Stop me if you have any questions. DH Restoration, it's their pay app number 3, total $18,156, retainage is $16,340. Fire stopping is all the work completed that ties to this, so the best explanation is what's in red there. Top of wall spray insulation plus the red spray is a fire retardant. And that's the best way I can describe it. That's how it was described to me. Romesburg, payout number 3, $71,570, $70,686 with retainage. And that covers all of these different things for this particular payout: fluid barrier installation, labor and material, EPS installation, labor and material, base coat, all the hand rolling ties to this. That's where the total is there. Payout number 4 for Higgins, $109,592.36 with retainage at $98,633.11. Interior framing, if you've been inside, you've seen there's a lot of metal studs all over the place. So drywall, they've been putting, I believe, the ceiling drywall in certain places, and that's what they're going to be here for a while. Poly Jail, payout number 9 for them. Stored material and work completed. Stored material is significant, $547,234.16. Work completed, $83,937.84. Total $631,172 with the retainage, $568,54.79. The stored materials, big part of that is the cells. That's the $547,234. 234. The labor, 22,676.22. We carry on to the next page. We go into engineering, project management, software programming. Adds up, and then we get to the bottom of the next page, is the total, the 83,937 plus 547. That's where you get your total. This is a pay app embedded within, but it's part of, for Steel Cell of North America, but it's part of the Polyjail pay app. So if you see that, it's not something that's separate, it's included. Just made that note so there's no confusion. Here's some of your stored materials.
Yeah, there's been some engineering costs show up part of the time. This last one, I think, had a $93,000 engineering. What would be done to cause an engineering? Because Goldberg's already done all that.
Well, so you're talking
Remember,
about...
this company has something identified, and I know it's not the first time it showed up, but
So
first time to be this significant.
this engineering is what you're referring to right here, right?
Yeah, not 790, it's 4,900, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah, but 4,900, so SEC, I'm trying to remember what that stands for. They are the ones who are dealing with the electronics for the interior of the jail. So they're separate from Goldberg because they deal with, specific to the Coffee County Jail, how that program will meet the needs of Coffee County specifically. So every jail is different when it comes to the internal electronics and what that schematics looks like. So that also goes to, like right here, the software programming. It's a poor way of describing it. I can probably get you a little more information.
Well, there's 3.6 million total for the project.
Yep.
That's a pretty separate, that's a huge amount of money separated from Goldberg. Yet I'm sure it's still inside the 2.5, but, or the 25 or 26 million.
So this SEC is, if I'm saying it correctly, they are a subcontractor working with Polyjail to provide the technical assistance that goes into creating the pods and the engineering specific to the pods for the jail side. So SEC is also a part of creating the specific program that will be at central control that will control all of the pods when they open, when they shut, somebody in that secure area, because not every jail is the same. So this is specific to this particular jail. I don't know if that helps make sense. So that's where you see some of the other things will be on-site technical assistance and training, shop assembly, and in-house testing, because they'll have to come in and make sure everything is working and operating the way that it was intended and designed. And that's who the SEC, what their purpose and intent is. So they work hand in hand with Polyjail. Polyjail designs and fabricates the jail pods, and then they ship them out, and then this company helps and supports them. Does that make sense?
I
Probably
believe
not.
it's just the engineering of the cells themselves, not the entire project.
But good questions, and I'll get somebody to come in and maybe explain that a little bit better.
Well, I overlooked the dollar amount to start with, putting this just 4,900, but there's more than that to the whole project.
Yeah. And the Polyjail side of it is a significant part of it, especially with the pods and walking in and out of doors, and when you see the final product and you walk from through one door to the next and you see the mechanics of how that works, and that you can't just walk through, you have to get permission, and somebody sitting in that control room, all of that requires someone putting that program together in a way that it meets the needs of our specific jail. Conley sprinklers. Oops. 22,441, that number's yeah, I highlighted the wrong number. It's 124,768. It's 138,631.95. Sprinkler lines, if you've been inside there, that's the labor and installation of the sprinklers within the jail. McElroy's, pay app number 8. It's probably their biggest number to date. 939,485. Work completed 538,985. Stored materials 400,500.
It's their largest number to start so far.
And if you look at all the things that have gone on, it all adds up. Stored materials are significant. The RTU splits, HW coils, VFDs, I can't remember all of what those acronyms stand for, but they are tied to McElroy's, and I believe there's pictures. If you've been over there, you've seen all these things make sense with what's been done, the plumbing, the sheet metal, the HVAC, so on and so forth. Inside, it's coming to life within the walls of that building. So that's the total, and then pictures. Pictures after pictures after pictures.
Well, McElroy's got, 5.2 million, they've got almost 20% of that whole project.
Yep. So these, I don't know if that's an air handler or what that is, but that's part of the stored material.
Oh, well, no, it doesn't matter.
Tell me to stop when you want me to stop. I know you. You had this in advance to look at.
Yeah.
This is for you and for those who watch online to see that it's just not rubber stamped and signed off on. And I think there's just one more. Shelley Electric, pay app number 8. Work completed 39,640.60. Stored materials 15,383. Total 55,2360. With retainage 49,521.24. And this is the one that we probably spend 20 minutes working on every month, because they continue to add in their stored materials onto what they did the last time, so we have to go back and subtract out what's already been taken care of. So for the stored materials that apply this time, the accurate number is 15,383. And then if you look at the work that's been completed, lighting material, power material, low voltage material, and then the labor that goes with that, subtracting previous change orders, adding a change order that's already been approved, we get the total at the bottom. These are stored materials. So that's it for that. I'll go back. I'll just read this. request a motion to approve the application and certificate for payment, application number 11 for the period ending October 31st, 2024, submitted by River City Construction LLC in the amount of $2,476,485.27 for work completed reference to Coffee County Law Enforcement Center project. Funds to come from the Jail Construction Project Fund, Fund 111.
Also move.
Can we do that without?
We'll have to run somebody. Casey?
I'm sorry. Okay.
Sorry I didn't see you gone. I just read it.
Okay, this is for the change orders, or this
No.
is the payment?
Just payment.
AF number 11.
Here, you read it. Dawn moved.
Okay.
I'll second.
Terry seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Now, hopefully real quick, change order number 23. You had this ahead of time, but this is associated with potential change order number 32 related to a change in the kitchen delivery door, adding a coiling security grill over the new door location and stainless steel wall paneling in the kitchen. These are all requests made by the sheriff based on his review of the plans related to the kitchen, location, some of the things that he saw in his tours at other jails, whether it be in Wyoming or up in Lynn County, some of the things that made sense, didn't make sense, and these changes were largely due to for the betterment of the final product.
Now's the time to change it.
Yep.
And with Lynn County, that project still has 6 to 8 months or maybe a year to complete. It wasn't, the kitchen area wasn't done at that particular time.
Yep. So he's been back up. Some of these, if you see this, would be the sort of some of the changes in design that he wants this blown up area. So when you come in and you, for security reasons, for reasons being able to bring people in and out, different things, and he can explain probably a little bit better to you why it was important these changes be made, but I've been a part of those conversations that there's good reason.
Makes sense.
So these are all the changes that deal with those internal changes in design. And a lot of it's tied to the kitchen. So I don't know if you have any questions related to what you read or what you saw in the design that shows where the changes would be made.
Sheriff knows best on that.
Yeah, it's better to do it now.
Yeah.
The stainless steel made sense. There were some areas where I think it was some sort of coating, epoxy coating or something like that, and stainless steel made more sense because something was peeling off because of the high temperatures that were around whatever. I think it had to do with the where dishes were being done, just the constant heat and
So they've
steam.
observed that somewhere else,
Yep.
and it's been an issue.
Yep.
That makes sense.
So, if anybody wants to see more information on that, I know you've got to see it ahead of time.
So, motion for the board to approve for the chairman to sign, vice chairman to sign the following change orders regarding construction related to the Suffolk County Law Enforcement Center. There's something in there that moved on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. It's like, what the heck happened?
She was correcting the vice chair.
Yeah.
Related to Suffolk County Law Enforcement Center as approved by River City Construction.
I'll move.
Thompson's moved.
I'll second.
Meeks seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Did you go over that whole thing?
No, I did not. Did you want me to?
Yeah, just so it's.
So change order number 23, as we just voted on, the costs associated with potential change order, number 32, which includes contract document revisions associated with proposal request 10, which include costs associated with the following: adding coiling door, 167.2, including wiring or power controls, filling the original door location for door 173 with EFIS?
EPIS.
Oh, okay, EFIS. Okay. And removing the stainless steel shelving wall panels, the door is relocated and adding stainless steel wall panels between sinks shown in elevation number 6 on page FS1.11. Deducts $17,703 with $17,703 to be deducted from the project construction contingency with no change in the projected guaranteed maximum price of $25,712,885. And Thompson moved and Reed seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Then here's the, when you have a chance, the one you can sign that will be sent to River City. That's all I have.
I got the bottom line here.
Yeah, it's just fine. Right there on the signature and also on the rest. There's my signature.
Oh, okay, now I'm reading it right.
And then I'll fill in the rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, good enough. I was looking at the bottom. Did you read?
That's it.
Okay. Amelia,
Morning,
On deck.
Commissioner.
you at your podium?
I have Ryan Urban with BG Consultants with me. I'll start with a quick update on our renovation down in the health department. The only activity that was performed on Veterans Day was some reference for the electricians. They were on site performing a few items. Phase 1 of drywall is complete, painting has begun, and Phase 1 of plumbing and electrical reference are complete. The ceiling grid installation should be finished this week. They were hoping to finish it last week, but I mean, it's not fitting his bearing schedule or anything like that. Casework has arrived, I believe, and installation to follow. Phase 1 of basin area is complete, and doors are to be shipped on 12/3, and we will start transitioning over to Phase 2 on the week of December 9th. On December 10th, the Kansas Immunization Program with KDHE will be on site to transfer our public supply of vaccines to our cooling units. We will be moving them over to the hospital because they have to be monitored. A whole lot of requirements. They have to be monitored for 5 days after transfer because we cannot place them in our vaccine units until 5 days after we have stable temperatures, because it's just part of their policy. We do have temporary units that we can use, but with having flu vaccine, we just don't have as much storage as we need to be able to store them on site in our temporary units. And then we'll go on to our first change order. So we have the contingency fund of $38,900. Votes Construction submitted some documentation and rationale for a change order number 1 to BG Consultants for review. BG Consultants did support their documentation and findings, and they do recommend relocating the existing valve in conflict with new work, installing 10-inch spiral pipe and fittings from the existing valve to west restroom, and rerouting water lines and vent pipes which deviate from the connection location shown in the original plan. So it was unforeseen circumstances. It just didn't reflect in our original blueprints, and Grant could probably.
Yeah, so I'll go into a little bit more detail. Essentially, the VAV, which is a variable air volume change box, it's basically your mixing box for your heating and cooling. It was in conflict with a new wall that we had located in the plans above ceiling. So for the HVAC contractor to just relocate that box to a slightly different location and add the 10-inch spiral fitting to connect to that was the first portion of the change order, which was $1,054, which was based on labor for them to relocate that and the cost of fitting itself. The second part is rerouting the water lines and the vent pipes, which deviated from the original building plans that BG had received prior to starting the design of the project. Essentially, the connection location that we had intentionally proposed in the bid documents was unable to be made due to the presence of where that connection point was deviated from what the original building plans had that we received. So for them to reroute the water lines and the vent piping to a location that was able to be connected into, they had presented a pretty ample amount of documentation to support that adjustment as far as the labor and material change, which was in the amount of $3,729.22. And then the third portion of the proposed change order was $109.23 for the adjustment in the performance of payment bond to reflect the additional increase in the cost of the project. So that total proposed change order number 1 by votes was $4,893.25. BG Architects and Engineers reviewed all that information, found it acceptable, so we recommended acceptance of that proposal number 1 for change order number 1 on the project.
And then I do have the supporting documentation that was submitted by vote to VG and VG's letter as well. You guys wanna?
So your project right now, to me, is what, about third along. Are there any other expected change orders that you see now that may crop up a little bit later, which you're gonna have change orders, I fully understand that.
Yeah, so.
Are you foreseeing any, since you're the third along?
So generally, which part of the reason why we started the construction contingency conversation earlier on is because we do anticipate usually around 10 to 20% of the construction costs can be foreseen as unforeseen problems, right? So with this particular project, since we're phasing it into 2 phases so that the health department can maintain operations, they've only done demolition on half of the project. So they started demolition on phase 1. They've gotten through all the unknowns that are above ceiling and in wall that couldn't have been seen, right? So they've completed most of the new work involved with phase 1. They're starting to do finishes and interior finishes that will wrap up phase 1, and then they'll do demolition on phase 2. So I would anticipate to utilize, some amount of the remaining contingency fund as part of phase 2 demolition, but of course, we try to minimize as many change orders as possible. So I foresee this as being the only change order for phase 1. Is I guess where I would see it at this stage.
We're calling this contingency fund, but it's actually adding cost to the contract.
It's
So,
it's
is
an
it a
increase.
contingency fund?
So part of what we tried to address early in the project is we had our bid value, right? So the bid value came in at around $385,000, whatever the $389,000 was the bid value. And then in addition to that, we went back to the commission slightly after the bid was completed and said, we do anticipate that because we did not have the contingency built into the bid, that we request a contingency
remember
built
that. I
built in
remember
after
that
the fact.
discussion.
So yes, the value reflected in the $389,000 does not include that $38,000 contingency, but that's what this is intended to dip into.
I remember you talking about it now.
Yeah.
I do have the letter for the contingency fund from August 25th.
So this would be a $4,900 change order out of the $38,900. So I feel like we're well within bounds of where we'll come in. I don't foresee us utilizing that full $38,000.
Doing well at this point.
Right.
So you got something typed up?
Oh. Yeah, I do.
That's it?
Oh,
I can't find it.
There's nothing here to sign today. Have you got a,
You,
you got
Yeah, I
another
have.
document?
we need a motion.
Are we supposed to be signing this one?
Here,
This
let
is
me-
just,
that's just information
Yeah.
on
This
the
is
rest of the
a
warrant.
recommendation letter
I
that
got
we
that.
prepared that just provided justification, and then
Yeah, we
the
need a
second
motion.
document was the official AIA change order.
Approve that change order.
You get it here.
With all the activity going on, Amelia, is this, I don't even know how I want to say it. Is this reduced the number of people coming in for vaccines and,
Not necessarily, this is,
so you don't see, because everybody knows we're probably doing something in down
mhm. It hasn't reduced our patient numbers.
there. Okay.
I mean, we do have to limit the amount of appointments we schedule per day just because we do only have one exam room, but this was the most ideal time for us to perform something like this just because historically this is our slower season.
So what are we on that?
48, 93, 25, $4,893.25.
Okay, I think
Move for the board to approve and for the vice chairman to sign the following change orders regarding construction related to the health department remodel 241162, change order number 1 in amount of $4,893.25 as approved by, we want to put P&G,
BG Control.
Yeah, that's
approved by B&G Consultants.
I'll move.
I'll second that.
Craig moved, Tom seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
All right, thank you guys, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
That's all you got?
Yeah, we'll reflect that in the next pay application, and it'll all be in there.
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'll wait around for this copy.
That is the end.
You need to sign here. I still have Canvas to finish
Correct.
it.
Of the original, yeah. When would you be ready for that?
Let me see where they're at now.
Copy for you to sign and for, thank you.
Did you?
Thank you for your time.
Take care.
Thank you.
Okay, we're not ready yet, so if you have something else, you can do.
Do you want to go into executive session for the economic development director? 15 minutes. I mean, I guess we don't have to pull the trigger on anything, but we need to know if we're gonna.
We need to know which direction we're gonna go.
Yes, I agree. Okay. So I'll make a motion to, we want to involve county attorney. Okay. I'll make a motion to go into executive session for 15 minutes, include each of the commissioners, and county council of Wade Bowie, provide matters deemed privileged in attorney-client relationship.
Wait, no, you're gonna do,
Oh.
Sorry, I was working on that, to discuss personnel matters.
Discuss personnel.
Yes, please. Can I talk to you, please?
Yes, we're doing a motion real quick.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Personnel for discussion of economic development candidates, is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that would be B1.
Okay, wait, yep, so, just, maybe to add, in case there's any additional, since these are for potential employees of the county, Open Meetings Act allows it under that subsection B1 to discuss. Personnel matters exception allows this board to interview, discuss, consider applicants or prospective employees of that body or of this body in order to protect that person's privacy interests, and that's sort of a long-standing exception to the Open Meetings Act for this particular reason.
And I'll second that motion.
Do I need to read the whole thing again?
Probably need to, because I think I got everything we said, but I think I might have missed something too.
So did you add what I just said? I didn't add that, I was just doing that as a clarification.
Okay, so then just discussion of employee candidates, so I can take that stuff out.
Employee candidates for economic development under the non-elected personnel exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act.
Okay. I thought you wanted that added,
No,
I'm
no.
sorry.
That was just clarification in case there's questions.
So we have the right to discuss that.
Yep.
Okay, now I'm done.
So I moved, Terry seconded, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. We're going at 11:14 for 15 minutes.
I might go through the jail next week or two. I'm not too sure we have all, I'll go through it as a group.
I think that'd be great. I was gonna try to go through it last Wednesday and then I just couldn't make it to Burlington again.
They were telling me as far as upstairs go, probably another week or two, and then it'd probably be worth, well, at least for me taking pictures of the newspaper.
Right.
But so did
And
the jail stuff.
let's see, next week's the 25th,
25th, and then see, after that would be the, second, or,
in December it's the 2nd.
yeah.
Right now, it's a muddy mess over there.
So,
Trying to get into it.
yeah, even inside it's gonna be a little muddy, that's no place.
They keep it pretty clean there.
Maybe we can set up on the 2nd where we all go through it.
I think it's really a good group over there, just from the parents and the way they work, and those guys haven't wasted any time at all, time or energy.
coming back? Yeah.
We still got things set up, don't we?
Yeah, we should,
Got a few checks too, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the game, I saw the highlights from the Chiefs game. It's good until the end, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, two good teams. It could have went either way.
Yeah, it's whoever gets the breaks. 2 interceptions by Mahomes, didn't you?
that first one kind of set the tone of the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it did.
I wasn't watching, but my wife was. I think I had some hearing loss.
Oh, no! She's saying?
Yeah. She's way more into sports than I am.
Oh. Gwen,
No, you didn't get me to that, yeah.
I didn't realize you was coming
Yeah, I
right
was
behind
sneaking
me.
right through there, yeah.
Oh, Angie must be ready.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, I'll break your leg.
Yeah, okay. Fantastic.
I run over you about like old Tom when he hit my chair last week with that cane.
Oh.
I jumped 6 feet.
Record movement, wasn't it?
Getting the damn way.
I'll just say the result of the last executive session, no action being taken. The economic development open position, there's going to be a request to see if one of the applicants will come back for another interview, a second interview.
Don't have as many papers this time.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
not yet,
I
anyhow,
haven't
okay,
seen it
I
yet.
stand corrected.
You ready? Okay, I need a motion to reconvene as Board of Canvassers, canvass the results of November 5th, 2024 general election at 11:35 a.m.
Also move.
Peace is moved.
I'll second that.
Thompson second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We have Gwen here, of course, filling in. Motion passes 5-0.
Updated ones here. I went ahead and added that one on Berlin. We're 3, even though we don't know, but it is updated in the total, so,
Make it work.
I agree.
yeah. At the very bottom, you'll see we've added 57 provisionals of my balance sheet, and on the report, you'll see that we've counted in 57 provisionals.
You've got that one that's added in, so.
I did go ahead and add it in, because
So we're all squared up
it
on.
balances regardless, even whatever way it went. What I want to show you guys, just part of educating you on elections. So we have our paper ballot machine, which is called the DS200. Our machines are produced by Election Systems and Software, which is ES&S. So we were questioned a lot about what types of machines we were using. There were concerns that the votes could flip and all that. But in building the election like I do here locally, number one, I save the county a lot of money. But number two, it also gives me the ability to fix a problem if there is one. And because in the way back 20 years ago, I had to send some of our election media back, and we had to overnight, and we were just within a couple days of the election, and I was sweating bullets. So, but in building the election, it's just a standalone computer, not connected to the internet. You go in, basically you tell which offices are up, so you just type those in. Then you say who is running for which office, so you type in the names of who is running for those offices. When I say, I used to use the word election programming, and that got me in trouble, which I'm not programming it to do anything, I'm just building ballots. electronically, basically is what I'm doing.
Fill in the blanks.
Yeah, I'm basically filling in the blanks of names and offices, candidates and offices, and which precincts they should be on. And if anyone ever has a question about that, I would happily welcome them in to show them how it works. It took a long time to, well, when I back up, it took me a while to learn to program myself, build myself, but like I said, it just gave me less stress and heartache over what could happen, because if the company makes a mistake shipping it out to have them do it, I still have to answer for it. So I felt like if I'm going to have to answer for it anyway, I might as well make my own mistake and have to answer for it than have to answer, for somebody else.
Right here.
Yeah, and it's here local, and so, and then we test all the machines many times. Fortunately, everything's gone very well throughout the years. I think we've had a few little bumps along the way, but I'm very confident in our elections in Coffee County. So we just read in 57 provisional ballots on there. You see on that report?
Yep.
Now, this is the report that comes off of the DS 200, which is the paper ballot counter. And you see that number 54 there, right?
Yes.
Okay. See it on there, Don?
You mentioned you type in the candidates.
Uh-huh.
Do you have any specific order you need to type them in?
Yes, we are told by the Secretary of State's
President
office
and all that?
how it has to be. I mean,
I've heard you have.
yes, everything is laid out on who goes first. So when you look at a ballot, it's not my choice. It's
That's
how.
the order it
yeah,
comes.
Yeah. And in different counties, they might rotate, like who's first on it. Like, okay, so if you take U.S. House of Representatives or something, for instance, in our county, the candidate that's first might be different than in another county. So they rotate them differently than we do here. Now, we rotate our local candidates, if there's more than one, by each precinct or whatever. So, anyways, so back to this. So, and then we had those 3 partial counts. So we had to hand tally those, and I had to manually go in and enter them. And I know some people might say, well, you manually entered. Yeah, I did, but it's on this report. Everything has to tie back to what our numbers are, what our reports say. So, anyway, I just want you to realize that there's more than one checks and balances in this, and it's not like a person could go in and do that.
Right.
So, anyway, so I'm good. Sign off on these 2 partial count papers. And these were the poll books for the provisional ballots that I'll have you guys
Which I'll jump in
sign
and
off.
tell you, those are not really presentable, but I was on the fly this morning. When I made the report up, I could see that there was one person that wasn't on the report that should have
Yeah,
been,
that's fine.
but my numbers matched, so I knew there was one in there that shouldn't have been. And the only way to find out was to go through it. And we went through and the girls found the one that shouldn't have been and found the one that should have been. And so this corrected report, we've taken the one out and added the other one in.
I wasn't sure where to find, so I'm just.
If I had had 2 hours, I could have found it, but I had 5 minutes.
As you're signing those, as I was showing you on the provisional tape that comes out of the DS 200, we also have a tape that comes out for election day paper and advance paper, and those numbers all match what's read into the machine. But I'm using Leroy, Don. So when you see the total of ballots cast for each precinct, like Avon was 66, and then I go down to the next one, add all those together, they match what's on this balance sheet, and then each precinct in this report too.
Okay.
So, but this is what's done on election night to give us the total, and we match what the sticks read in to this, and make sure that everything is accurate. Not that y'all were asking for all that information, but I thought it would be good to explain it.
For the Leroy community,
It's very technical
it
and,
all balanced out, but you've got 4 or 5 different townships you're working with too.
Right.
You got Leroy, Spring Creek, and probably Avon, and
Star.
Yeah.
And they had a couple from a different, 2 other townships that showed up there to vote.
And these are the, provisional poll book ballots, or poll book, I'm sorry, poll book.
Yeah, that's the one that says where we had a corrected report there afterwards. Added the one in and took the one out. I knew they were in there, but I didn't know who they were yet. Did we sign off on these also?
Yes, if you would please. I got a few more for you to sign in here.
And you can put that on the back page of.
The back page, well, you can sign, if you can fit it on the front there, go ahead, if not,
I
the
just
back's
wanted that.
fine.
Bring it back here in case somebody's robbing the office.
These were the hand counts we had to do on election day ballot.
for the big numbers here in Burlington, how many machines you, I know you had 5 at Leroy, what do you got in Burlington?
We
10?
have 8.
8.
And these are the hand count elections.
Okay.
The back page will be fine.
You know when you're ready for ties.
Yeah, I'm just not quite yet. And these are the advanced poll books that we mailed out. Oh, sorry, these are advanced.
What do you got?
What are these, Brad?
Who's say?
5 advanced poll books? These are 6.
These are mail ballots that will return to the polling place on election day.
Okay.
You can just tell by the names.
Yeah. Those are all.
They have the option with the mail ballots. 5 seems to be a magical number with that, which makes it hard when you're comparing your reports. We only had like 5 ballots of all of them, a couple hundred that were mailed out but didn't come back. And mostly I know why. One lady just called me and said, one side of her family said if she voted one way, she was a Nazi, and the other side said if she voted the other way, she was a communist. So she said, I'm throwing it away.
Well, now she could have voted. They never would have had to know how she voted.
I would put a plug in for our local post office and all around the county. They did a fantastic job. They get beat up on the TV news a lot, but they went way out of their way to help us. They claim they're just doing their job, and I suppose that's true, but they're doing it well. We appreciate all they did there.
You running out of them things, Steve?
And then this is the official
No,
report with everything added in the summary, and this is the precinct. So you can sign at the bottom if they're,
At the bottom of these,
uh-huh.
are the ties, and that's what, okay. That'll be a little bit.
That's the election summary, which gives you the 4,421.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the total. And then this is the precinct, which is broken down from those with everything added in.
Okay.
And they all say official report.
Yeah. Sure, you need some. Which should be getting low, or,
No,
no?
just, I don't know what it is.
And if these, if we go to that page, is that-
If you could do it, there's a front on the bottom, that'd be fine.
okay.
That way, it's on the official
My
side.
muscles in the back, so my leg does it too much. Just can't stop it. And when I go to the eye, it's like,
You testify to that.
We got a tie someplace in our
I screwed
township.
something.
Yeah, we'll get to that
We
here in a
got
minute.
5 of them. 5 of them. Yep.
Really?
I tried real hard to get people to file for those offices, so we wouldn't have so many, but no one's happened.
So then lastly, before we do the fun part, so it's required now, I don't know, last few years, that we have to do a post-election ballot audit. And what that means is a precinct is selected, and there's certain races that we have to bring a board in. We have to pull all the cards out of the cans, the actual cards that once the voter votes on the screen, and then it prints and goes into the can, we have to pull those out. They have to sort out which ones. In this case, it was Avon Township, and they had to count United States President, Kansas Senate District 12, and County Attorney. Those are the ones that the state told us we had to do. Anyway, we had 90 ballots even, right? 90 ballots, I think is what it was. And
I don't remember off the top of my head now.
anyway, everything came out perfect, and, let's see, 98 ballots. Sorry. Anyway, everything came out perfect, so if you guys want to sign up on that report, we've sent it in, we've got it approved by the state, we're all good there.
That again that has been the case every time that we've had the ballot audit. We've matched exactly the machine count from election night to the ballot cards. A couple of elections ago, we had 2 votes that did not match, and we tracked them down to mail-in ballots where people hadn't filled in the little bubble enough for the machine to pick it up. And you could see it if you looked real hard.
I'm curious, how many people do you have to bring in to count?
We brought in 3 for that board.
I see.
If we had ended up doing the one with the write-ins in it, we might have had to do 2 boards, because we gotta go through and find, but we try to break it down ahead of time and have a tally sheet for each box, so they grab that box, they go in there and find those ballots and hand tally those, put them back in the box, go to the next box and the next sheet, so we had it pretty well organized, and they made short work of it. Our board did a good job.
So, last thing is the drawing for certain township positions. We got several write-ins for those, so.
Here's where it looks like anyways. Got 5 offices in 4 townships, I guess, and Tumwa is in there like they usually are. It's an inactive township, but you guys probably all know that by now. We have to choose a treasurer, but they don't have any treasurer. And we have to choose a trustee, but they don't have anything to entrust to them. So it's just, we have to keep it in place as somebody's dinging. executive session's over. So anyway, that one, we're kinda going through the motions. These other three are Key West and Liberty and Spring Creek are all taking care of cemeteries and doing important stuff out there for us. And it's kind of a lifetime appointment unless you can get somebody else to come in and do it for you. So, we're grateful for those people that do sign up for that. And I don't know how you want to do this. What I've done usually, if it's all right with you, the law says that we do it by lots. And what I've been doing is just putting the names of the candidates on slips of paper. And if there's only a couple of them, I print them several times, so it just seems a little more random than if there were just two. So like for Key West, we got Gary Baker or Jeannie Baker and Gary Knight. We do have the interesting thing that if it's Gary Knight, there are two registered voters.
Two registers are the same name.
With that name. So we'll see what happens here. But I'll put those in there, and I don't know, Tom, do you want to draw these, or do you want to point at somebody to draw them, or? All right, usually ask the chair to do that.
Buyer.
Janie Baker.
Baker.
Baker, yeah.
Andy
Sorry.
Baker, okay. Well, that solves the
that.
Gary
Yeah.
Knight.
Oh, that's no problem.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gary.
Sorry, Gary and Gary.
Sorry, Jeannie, also
Yeah.
probably. So I'll dump those out. And what's next on my list there? Would be Liberty Township. That would be, you got seven. Yeah, you got 7 of them in there. So I didn't do, so you got Walnutburg, Finley Lane, Gladden, Albert Snowball there, and Harvey wishes his name wasn't in there, but there it is, Harvey.
And these were all right.
Harvey's just done it so well for so long, and
Well, I don't think
probably
we
ready
want to have
to not
one
do
Friday,
it.
but it's
She's trustee. These are for treasurer.
Oh, okay. Everybody got one.
Yep. So if you wanna pick somebody out of that mess, or if you wanna shake it around more, or whatever,
Craig Metzger.
Craig Metzger.
Okay.
It's your lucky day, Craig.
Maybe, maybe not, right?
Then we got Sumner Township, which I didn't try that hard on it, because they're not gonna do anything anyways. I think maybe Sean Downey might already be one of those offices, or 2 or 3.
Yeah, I voted on both.
So this is for the, which one's Bruce, the trustee?
Trustee.
This has Sean Downey and Bob Surratt in it. Shake and bake and pulling out.
Sean Downey's on both of them. Sean Downey.
Sean Downey.
Okay.
Well, if he's fortunate enough to win both, he would have to choose one or the other. And have a vacancy each. And here we go again for treasurer. Where we have Sean
did you
Downey
like it?
and Myron Heisen and Roy Skillman. Put some things up there. Bend those over and shake them around some more.
Well, Sean can't do both, eh?
He can get elected to both, he can't do both. He would have to choose which one to accept, or, I don't think,
Or can we redraw it?
Sean Downey.
no, we just have to say how it came out, and
Lucky
you have to choose it. And you,
Justice Yank.
if it was an active township, then you would have to appoint somebody to fill the vacancy, since there isn't really a duty. It'd be up to you to decide whether to bother doing so. It wouldn't be very important. This one is, Spring Creek has a cemetery to take care of. And Wilford's got the checkbook, but he needs help.
Greg Blue, Gail Harvey, and Gary Soos.
Yep. We'll shake that one up and see who you come up with.
Gail Harvey.
We will let all these people know, and all the other ones that are on there, that with one straight out, we'll send them a certificate, let them know they were elected, and if they want to turn it down, they can, and then we'll have to come to you. I do note that on the the Burlington Township, that Warren Bell was on the ballot. We talked about that, I think, before, that his death came after the deadline for taking him off. And so you're gonna end up having a vacancy to fill there, but we'll get with the remaining board and Sean mostly and see if he's found someone willing to go work there with him.
Okay.
But we'll have to come back to you for an appointment on that.
Okay.
So with that, I just want to thank all the poll workers and the students. Couldn't do it without them.
They did a good job, we were on the
Yeah.
time that I was inside, so.
And then I want to thank my office staff and Brad for all the work that they've done in helping me make a successful election for Coffee County. Thank you.
And thank you
Yeah,
for all the
great
work
job.
you do.
Yeah.
Appreciate what you do.
Big job to keep it all straight,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Can't imagine what it'd be like to be here for you.
Yeah.
So, that being said, move to certify the results of the canvas board.
I'll move.
Thompson's moved,
I'll second.
Curry seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Move to adjourn as canvas board at 11:58 a.m. and reconvene as the Board of Coffee County Commissioners.
Oh, also move.
Beach moved,
I second.
Gwen said, get that right here.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Gwen.
Thank you, man, for being here, Brad.
Do you want what's left here for, people through, you think?
We can, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank y'all.
No, thank you.
You were all these papers or file 13?
You can do whatever with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
There, in case you need them.
Take care.
Yep.
We have a few things to sign. I think Wade has something else. You got a round table?
I don't, Tom.
Meets?
I'm fine, Tom.
Attended the Southeast Kansas Works, meeting, went to a training deal the night before, and it was pretty informative. I mean, it was more focused on the employees and everything, but I did learn a few things I didn't know that I managed not to forget before I got out of there. So, a good, in my opinion, a good, something that the government does that I feel, you know, it gets some people to train, to overcome some limitations they have and get them placed in some jobs, and I feel it's a good program, so.
Was that pretty well attended down there?
Yeah, it was. And I'm gonna, and I don't know, I'm assuming that our, you know, down there's a lot of businesses that, are active in that. And I'd like to, encourage maybe some of the bigger employers here, or maybe any employer that if they wanna get on that board, they can, I believe. I need to check that out further, but hoping maybe we could help place some people. So that's all I've got.
I do not have a thing, other than I need to be a certain place by 2 o'clock, so we'll stay here and sign these checks. Round table, did you have anything?
Yes, I got about, well, just a reminder, this Thursday is the employees' Thanksgiving dinner at the
Really?
Branch Building.
Noon?
Would you
Uh,
mention 11 o'clock for us?
11:30.
Be-
I'd say if you could be there by 10 to make sure we get everything set up and done.
That's part of this.
Oh, okay, and then another thing I have is that I was contacted by, the ad department at the Coffee County Republican, and they are working on putting together a, like a tourism guide. They're doing one in Osage, or have done one in Osage right now, and they are requesting us to purchase an ad,
anyway, I didn't know if you'd be okay if I just went ahead and did like a half a page ad to put in there for the county, or it's like, for a half a page, it's $385, a full page is $725, and then if you do one of the covers, outside, inside, they're about $1,000. But it'd be for, I think she said, was it 3 years, 2 years, 2 years, and then you probably have to purchase again, but, they,
And what's that for, Angie?
it's for the tourism and living guide
Oh, okay.
that they're gonna start doing, and have them available around for people. She's willing to come in and visit with you too, if you want her to. I can send you the email she sent me showing what Osage County looks like, if you want. And she's also, I think she was gonna work with economic development too, to maybe do like a full page ad, which that would be true, but then they also wanna list like different departments and what they do, kind of give a little brief summary on what each department does, so that it's more educational for the public and stuff like that, so.
Okay.
I didn't know, I mean,
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
just whatever,
Yeah.
okay.
Maybe,
That seems
you know,
good.
Yeah,
not a whole lot of money, but
half a page, is that what you're thinking? I mean, is
Half
that,
a full, like I said, a half a page was, for just a regular page inside is $385, a full page is $725. But then if you get like one of the covers, the outside covers, it's gonna be about $1,000 or something. So,
You'd get more recognition on the outside cover.
Maybe.
That's the reason it's higher priced.
So maybe include economic development in that.
yeah, we can have them do one out there, and we
Well, I
could do
like
an
this
inside
kid.
one or something, or I could just work with Rhonda.
Well, yeah, I just meant it.
Wait, mister. So Tom, I don't know if Tom's even
He
signed.
hasn't been signing them because he's got the checks. I don't
I
have
don't know,
it.
there's such a thing as doing a full page and let the economic development take care of half, and you take,
That's what I was,
what do you do?
yeah.
Could work together on it.
yeah, the pretty
I
good.
mean, it's
That's
a thought,
possible.
not a request.
Yeah, that's possible, but if that doesn't work,
Where
I'm
you
good with whatever,
Okay,
so.
I'll just get with Rhonda and
That'd be
see
good.
what we can come up with then.
Yeah.
That'd be one of those deals, partner, that would be good.
Yeah. And then lastly, we had that Zoom meeting with the SCKRPC last week over canceling the contract for them reporting to the Department of Treasury, and they've agreed to go ahead and cancel that contract. So Wade's gonna work with their attorney to get that dissolved. And
Get any money back.
no, I went back and looked, and we were paying in the, I don't wanna say that, for the previous year, I guess. So I thought that we paid earlier this year for them to do it, and when I went back and looked, it was for the previous year. But we won't pay going forward, so.
Okay.
So will there be any more reporting going forward, because
There will be one last
just one
report
last report?
that I can do for you next spring before April, or by April 30th,
And that'll finish up.
and that'll finish it up, yeah.
Okay.
Then that grant is.
It's done, yeah.
So we're not paying for $24, technically, we're getting the money back in one respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, I updated them on the SDKRPC meeting, so if you, unless you wanted to do it, I didn't know if you're even coming back.
Probably so it's formalized, to get out of the contract, if there needs to be a motion. That was gonna be the only thing, you updated them on everything else, so, okay.
It is brief, unless you want to elaborate more, but I just told them we had the Zoom meeting and that their board was in agreement, and
Yeah.
that we would not get any more money back from, like, any refunds, and that I would finish the reporting next year.
we've already been through roundtable.
Okay.
Unless you had something else, Andy.
Yep.
Well, that, you want this and you can reference the agreement that was in your Monday, August 23rd. Just a motion to authorize me to work with the attorney for SE, whatever their acronym is, to mutually end the contract. And I requested from their attorney that for both sides, that there be something in writing that they can put in their file, that we can put in our file here, and that there be no question and both sides
Right.
sign it, because the contract's terminating 2 years early.
Yes.
We're missing a G on your reporting. Cares reporting.
Oh,
I think.
yeah, I got it. I'm gonna have to redo some of that.
Okay. So that's a pretty large amount of money, isn't it?
15,000 a year.
What are all these checks here?
Those are, longevity that we usually hand out at the Thanksgiving dinner.
Man.
That turned into a long-winded one, didn't it, Angie?
Yeah.
It'll take you a long time to read it, Tom.
Make you read it.
They're not done typing yet. Wait.
Thanks to Wade, but. I'm still signing longevity checks.
And it's been a long, they're longevity, aren't they?
Oh, thank you.
Say when.
Okay, I think it's ready.
Need a motion move to dissolve the contract with SEK RPC that was entered into on Monday, August 23rd, 2021 for the administrative consulting services, the American Rescue Plan Act, Coronavirus State and Local Physical Recovery Fund between Coffee County, Kansas, and Southeast Kansas Regional Planning Commission for funding intended to provide support to the state, territorial, local, and tribal governments in responding to the economic and public health impacts of COVID-19 and in their efforts to contain impacts on our communities, residents, businesses, and to authorize the county councilor to work with their attorney to mutually end the contract.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Curry's moved, Meeks seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Before we make a motion to close to close, something Steve and I was talking about a little bit, sometime next week or the week after, I think it'd be good. I have not been to the jail. I've been around it once a week, circling, but the outside's pretty well done, but I think it'd be great for all of us to go through the jail. We may have questions that someone else may not. I think it'd be good to set up a date and for all of us to go through the jail together. And I'd like to see that if the rest of you would agree.
I'm fine with it.
Sounds good.
If Wade could set something up next week's the last week of the month, it might be better to get into the first week of December. It's whatever everybody thinks.
And it may make the most sense, you have River City here, first thing on the agenda, to carve out a time slot of 30 minutes
Yeah, 30 minutes or 45, whatever it takes, so.
that you can go and do a tour. I mean, it should be, the most difficult part will be walking out to it, depending on what the weather is, and once you're inside, walking around on the inside, just navigating around, you're gonna have to get a safety update, put on hard hats and safety vests before doing so you'd wanna have time for that, but I'll talk with Sheriff in River City, and if you wanna do it, that would be my suggestion, so that they know.
I'd like to. I think it'd be good. You wanna work for next week or the week following? Next week.
I think as long as you carve it out, the longer you wait, the weather is potentially gonna be more of an issue.
Makes no difference to me.
So next week,
I think it'd be good for all the, I know when we went to Lynn County, there were five or six of us over there, and I'm not even sure who went. But I think it was good that all of us were there, and it was a good tour. I wish I'd have went through it after the tour was finished, but didn't get that done.
you said an hour? Or,
A good hour. You're gonna go downstairs, upstairs, there may be questions,
you
so
know, we've got 2 hours?
an hour's probably good.
I think an hour.
And
That's what it was.
If not, there'd be a second trip sometime.
I guess if
Don't last that long, we can take a short break.
if it's an hour, then maybe put it the last thing on the agenda. That way they know you're coming. You'll be impressed.
10 o'clock next week, because I don't think there'll be much
We
going
got
on.
Trust Point next week, or the week after. 'Cause that's an hour.
I know they're coming. I know they're coming next week, I know they are.
Yeah. That'll take an hour.
Okay, so it might be 11 o'clock.
We'll coordinate with them.
Did you have anything else? You said you might have something.
Yeah, so Thursday, I know is the Thanksgiving dinner, but it's also the sheriff's sale for the Maribel's property. I will be attending that on behalf of the county and at the request of, the attorney who's been working through that with, for the county.
That's at 10 o'clock,
Put
too.
a tab in there. Where I start
Where's that being
signing.
held at?
Right down there.
Yeah, it's not working out too well.
We can stand for
Yeah,
it.
we adjourn, so
All right.
15 minutes.
Please, thank you.
Yeah.
10 minutes to go down to it.
I tried.
That's on Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on Thursday.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, it wasn't 8 seconds.
Yep.
That's who you do a grocery with.
So the,
I need to be somewhere at 2. That's why we're still here.
today? Okay. I mean, the only other thing that I need to talk about is the roof, but I'm not sure the roof is something right now to talk about there's a legal wrinkle to it.
Should we talk about that here instead of going downstairs, or?
That's what I was gonna suggest. I mean, 10 minutes should satisfy it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna request a 10-minute,
Yeah.
10-minute executive session under the attorney-client relationship, so I can discuss the legal issues surrounding the Maribel's property. The county has an interest in involving the roof.
Can we do it right here, Ms. Both audience?
I was gonna suggest we do it right here for those purposes, or for those reasons.
Put it on now, you guys, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yep.
Right
You
here's
can
good.
tell by my voice getting weaker.
Right here's good.
What he said, made a motion.
I'll make that motion for 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Oh, did you have it right up? Sorry.
I'm working on it.
I wasn't even paying attention.
No, it's okay. I'm getting it.
I already moved to enter executive session for 10 minutes.
Oh, undo that. It's there now. Oops. What time, you got 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Did you have a second on that yet?
No.
No, we're waiting for you to type that line.
I jumped the gun.
You
We're
got
good.
this, yeah, okay.
Move to enter an executive session for 10 minutes to include each of the commissioners, county council, Wade Bowie, discuss matters deemed privileged, attorney-client relationship to discuss legal issues surrounding the rebuilt property the county has an interest in regarding the roof under KSA 75, yada, yada, yada. And McCurry moved,
I do.
I'll second that.
Thompson seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
We will enter at 12:22, if that's okay, right here. For 10 minutes.
Good.
Oh, it's 12:22. I should have said 3.